All right. Well, let's get to it. The Scream series, which many say do not have a bad movie in the series, which many say is the best horror series, which many say is the most consistent horror series. We're going to find out today if that's in fact true. We're going to start off with number 6 on our ranking, The Last Place. Uh, Nick, what are you thinking for your last place? In your opinion, the very worst Scream movie. What are you thinking?
Scream 7.
Scream 7 will undoubtedly be last on the list. I 100% agree because it's not looking good. I mean, the director backed out, the cast isn't coming back. It's not looking good.
Anyway, I guess to be serious,
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute now. I really want you to think about this, Nick, because the Scream fans, they will come after you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I should probably start this off by saying I've actually said what I'm about to say on Facebook before, and somebody told me to go kill myself.
Wow.
So with that being said, it did not change my mind at all. Last place for me still goes with Scream 4
Okay.
because there's not much I can really say, in my opinion, positive about the movie. If you like the movie, great. I'm glad. I like the series. I want to see it do good. But I did not like much of anything about this movie. I didn't like that Ghostface was a killing machine, for one. Usually Ghostface is supposed to be your bumbling idiot, making the characters think that they have a chance of eventually getting away, until finally Ghostface proves that, no, I'm actually pretty good at what I do. And we didn't get that with this one. This one was a purebred killing machine, and it makes no sense considering the fact it was damn Rory McCulkin. And then, and the other thing I didn't like is Jill as our main villain. Maybe if we got Wes Craven's look at what he originally wanted to do with it, I probably would have liked it more. But the ending hospital scene was, to me, overkill. Her just beating the hell out of herself, in a movie like this, it doesn't work for me. It worked in Liar Liar because that's a comedy. This is was stupid. And that's sad because I do like Emma Roberts. But overall, this movie just, I wish I'd never seen it. And that's where I'm sure a lot of people are going to
wow.
be. Wow.
Jeez. Tell us how you feel, Nick. Nick coming out the gate firing, man, taking shots. I wish you'd never seen it. Whoa.
I will say there is a good thing about it, in my opinion, and that is still Neve Campbell in the movie. She's always good. She's good in every single one of these movies. And that's gonna kind of contradict what I'm about to say when we get to whenever I put Scream 3 on here. It's going to contradict what I just said, but she's good in every single one of these movies still. So she's always a highlight.
I agree. Sydney usually is a strong part of the series. All right, so Nick, with Scream 4 coming in last place, which already is going to ruffle some feathers because Scream 4 definitely has quite the following online. I've been on the Scream Reddit. I've been on the Scream Facebook. I got a feeling that the Scream 4 fans are not going to like that placing for it, but I respect your opinion. My number 6, and you just mentioned it, Scream 3, rightfully so, takes its proper place and last place on my list. Here's the thing with Scream 3. I just said that Sydney's a strong point of the series, and to me, she's not a strong point of Scream 3 though, because she's barely in Scream 3. In the first half of the movie is focusing completely on David Arquette, Courtney Cox, which is Dewey, and Gale Weathers, which I don't find them to be particularly interesting in this movie. All the characters, the actors that get killed, I'm not a fan of most of the death scenes. I do like the Cottonweary opening, but that was probably the highlight in terms of a death scene. The only highlight of this movie to me is Parker Posey as Jennifer. She brings some comedic relief. She's really giving effort her performance. But something about this movie feels off to me. I don't know if it's the tone. I don't know if It's missing like the self-aware humor. Something about this one just is off to me. I haven't found it to be really rewatchable. Roman's a pretty good villain. I don't hate villain, or I don't hate Roman, even though he does seem kind of superhuman in certain aspects. You almost have to believe that there is a second killer, which is supposed to be Angelina, because the way Roman navigates through that damn mansion at the end, he's like at 5 places at once. I don't know if one person can logically do all that he does. But I'm of the opinion that, I mean, Nick went over the top with saying he wish he never saw part 4. I don't hate any of the Scream movies, so me put it as last. I'm not gonna be like, I wish this movie never existed. The day I saw this movie was the worst day of my life. That's Nick's attitude towards part 4. I'm not that strong on part 3. I think it's still a relatively watchable movie. So I'll just say that, Scream fans. I still like it. Just last on my list, though.
Alrighty, so my number 5 spot is again going to be extremely controversial and going to ruffle up the modern Scream fan feathers.
Uh-oh. Don't do it, Nick. Don't do it. You saw that comment we were left one time. Don't do it.
Yeah, I did. And you know what? That comment still solidified to me why Scream 6 is my next hated movie in the series.
Wow, he really did it. Now, we saw Scream 6 in theaters.
Yes, we did. And the reason, and to be honest with you, the main reason I actually putting this movie at number 5 is not really, is the fact that this movie starts off amazing. It starts off great in that first half. When we get to the last half, we get nothing but fake deaths, stupid villains, stupid main characters, and not only that, but Mindy is even worse in this movie than she is in the previous Scream movie, with feeling like she just has to constantly overplay what Randy used to be in the first 2 Scream movies. If the movie,
her given the rules did start to get a little bit tedious, a little bit too, yeah.
So for me, if the last half actually still had the same energy and we didn't get fake deaths like Scream that we got, this movie would have been in the probably even higher, definitely higher for me. But the last half of the movie is what brings this down, and it makes this movie so inconsistent to me that I have to put it here. I will say I do not regret watching this movie though, unlike Scream 4.
My God. Well, this may be the only time that me and Nick's list are in harmony, in a perfect harmony, because Scream 6 is going number 5 for me also. And I'm gonna echo what he said. We did see it in theaters and we did enjoy the first half of the movie. Up until, I want to say, oh man, where did it really fall off? I think when they're in the van and they're like listening in on Ghostface's phone call and trying to track him and stuff, and then he magically ends up across town at Gail's apartment, disposing of the bodyguard who's 5 times the size of Ghostface, but disposing the bodyguard very easily. And then the Gail Weathers fake out, non-death per se. By the way, we should mention spoilers for everybody who hasn't seen the Scream series. This is going to be a spoiler-heavy video because we're assuming everybody's seen all the movies here. Yeah, it kind of goes off the rails there in the second half of the movie. And the inability to kill off main characters is my biggest pet peeve with Scream 6. Our characters are in danger. It's a slasher. You have to be willing to kill off some characters in order to raise the stakes and make us fear for our main characters. When they're getting stabbed routinely, but they're all surviving, you start to plug at the credibility, you start to plug at the stakes a little bit too much. That's my main problem with Scream 6, which I also had said, hey, if this means in Scream 7 we're going to kill off everybody or kill off a sizable amount, I'm okay with it. But in lieu of potentially not even having the core 4 back in Scream 7, the lack of any of them dying in Scream 6 makes it even worse to me now. So, as Nick said, I think it's still an entertaining movie, and that first half is good enough with a lot of fun stuff that it's always worth a watch, of course. But yeah, not a movie I hate, but not as high as on Scream 6 as a lot of Scream fans are. But me and Nick are on the same page with this one.
Well, for my number 4 pick is going to be Vic's very last one, which is Scream 3 for me. And the reason this one is definitely over Scream 6 is because I just talked about how I didn't like the consistency that Scream 6 had, the inconsistency that Scream 6 had. What I can say about Scream 3 is it's a shit movie, but it's always the whole from beginning to end shit movie, but it's still in that fun area. Something about it is just makes I have fun watching this movie. I always laugh at the stupidity.
Huh.
Yeah, especially since they bring in freaking Princess Leia with that little cameo and shot towards George Lucas, and even the whole funny bit with the fact that I know Parker Posey from Blade Trinity.
Oh God.
But I always said Scream 3 for me is not a good movie, but it is more consistent than Scream 6, and it is fun throughout for me, even though it's a bad movie. So that's why I have it over Scream 6.
So you acknowledge it's a bad movie at least.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even think it's a bad movie. What's funny is for me, I don't get the fun factor that you're getting out of it. I get like for me, it's a little more on the boring side, is why I ranked it last. I feel like, but
I have
that's
fun with
fair.
it.
That's fair. Right now, following Nick's lead there, my number 4 was going to be what he had last, which is in fact Scream 4.
We're a
And
little bit more in sync than we thought.
well, I mean, you said you wish the movie didn't exist, that you wish you never saw the movie. I mean, I don't feel that way about any. This is not the Children of the Corn series. I don't feel that way about any of these movies. But look, Scream 4. I will defend Scream 4 because I do think it has some great kills. I think that it has solid characters, but mostly I'm a big fan of Jill. I do like Emma Roberts, but I think the character of Jill is fantastic. I think her motivation was spot on with kind of the social media age, like wanting to have followers instead of friends. So I thought the motivation was there, strong motivation for the killer. Her beating herself up was kind of goofy, and it does make me laugh, but I laugh. I mean, I'm entertained by it. And I just wish the movie would have stuck with the original ending of her actually getting away with it. Initially, she was supposed to get away with it. There was a trilogy planned where her and Kirby would have went to college, and they kind of I don't know if it was the studio or what, but they didn't go with that ending. And unfortunately, she met her demise. But Jill winning would have solidified the movie, maybe even higher on the list than it is currently. But generally, I like Scream 4. The only complaint about Scream 4 I really had though is it has a weird yellow color to it. Is that weird yellow tint? Like the movie looks like it's taking place in a different universe because of how the color scheme looks. But that one pet peeve aside, I'm still a fan of it.
Yeah, another thing, I didn't care for the motivation. I think the motivation is fucking stupid. she wants to be. I understand the whole famous bit, but she wants to be like her damn cousin. You know that's why I kind of wanted the trilogy to go because it sounded like the next movie it would have had Ghostface targeting her, which then she'd be like, "Oh, now you get to find out what your cousin's been going through the past 3 movies," which is why Scream 4 probably would have been higher if we got the original trilogy.
See, I think even self-contained though, I think it's realistic that there's some people that probably would want to be famous so desperately that they're willing to go to those great lengths. Um, so I was fine with it, and like I said, I just think Jill is the smartest killer that we've seen in the series so far. So
She's not even a killer.
that's what made her so smart. Her fingerprints are on none of the murder scenes. So
She only takes out 2 people.
she used what's his face Rory Culkin to do all the dirty work, and then she gets to take credit at the end. So mastermind.
Which I hope you know we're going to get comments down below saying you're wrong. She killed her mom and the cops. Which watch our Scream 4 review. We've already discussed that.
Yeah, that's all unconfirmed. Did she ever have the costume on? I think she would have had to at a certain point for it to make sense.
Well, she did at the end.
Yeah, but even like, well, yeah, you have to go back and watch our review of it because the timeline of how Ghostface gets to where he gets to doesn't make sense unless she's more actively involved than she's letting on. So, but that's for you to listen to the podcast, though.
Yeah, well. So my number 3 spot.
This actually gets the top 3 gets a little bit tougher. I felt to rank as I thought about it. Maybe not the number 1 spot, but the 2 and 3 I think are tough ones.
So it was pretty tough for me, but overall, I'm actually putting Scream 2 as number 3. Only because I understand our characters are in college, so there's still more still reactive, or they're still more of a reactive type character, but these characters do some stupid shit in this movie. Overall, it's actually one of the better ones. It's Ghostface is freaking insane in this damn movie. Does a lot of stuff that
That's because Mickey's the boldest killer ever. That dude does not give a damn. He'll attack police officers. He'll do anything.
And even though I just said Scream 6 had a really bad reveal, at least with this one, with it being Billy's mom, it makes sense.
Billy's mother.
Yeah, we also never got that Mickey like scene of saying who the cop was.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine one of them going, Richie's father.
Billy's mother. I
do. I actually like the reveal of this. I like the kills. I like Ghostface, but the characters are stupid, and it mainly goes under because of that damn musical sequence that just I wanted to punch somebody in the face.
Okay. Well, oh man, I gotta say, I disagree. I'm putting Scream 2022 at number 3, and one of the reasons is because it should have been called Scream 5. Why the hell is it called Scream 2022?
You can't even come up with an actual reason?
No, I'm just playing. That's not actual reason. That's more an annoyance, all right? You go from Scream 4 and you have Scream 6, and in the middle you have Scream 2022. What the hell, man? Okay,
let's face it, everyone calls it Scream 5, so
I know. So the top 3 are all basically, these are all good movies in my opinion. And Scream 5, I think does get a lot right. It has great death scenes. I feel like the new characters are strong. Although I do think that, although I like Jenny Ortega, I think that Melissa Barrera was better in 6 than she was in 5. So I cared about her character more in 6 than I did 5, just because I don't think her character had as much to do in part 5 she does in part 6. And I do like I like Dewey's death scene, even though we've talked about how ridiculous it is that Amber can do what she does.
Telling you, Hitman.
Amber got the damn superhuman strength there. She's forcing people, getting like knife struggles with people and like forcing the knife through their throats on grown men and stuff. So I mean, I don't know. There's certain things with that, but the movie feels like a great ode to the first movie. It's a good follow-up to the first movie. You have the climax taking place at Stu's house again, which is a good continuity, and it's a fun movie for sure. Fun movie.
So,
yeah.
So before I even, you can go ahead and put Scream 5 as my number 2. But before I actually go into why I like it better than part 2, I should mention there are a lot of people in the comments stating that they think it's actually Richie that kills Wes and not Amber. Even though, again, you should probably, I'm going to divert anyone who wants to know why I think that's BS to our Scream 5 review, because I'm pretty sure we mentioned that and I don't agree with it.
Yeah, I don't know specifically. Isn't Richie like somewhere with Melissa Barrera's character?
At that point, actually, Melissa Barrera leaves during West's death scene. She takes off, leaving Richie with the rest of the group.
Okay.
To our knowledge, until the reveal, to our knowledge, Richie supposedly went back to the hospital, because we do see another scene with him, I think, opening up his laptop when he gets to the hospital.
I mean, this is going back to our podcast, but I think the one thing to point out too that makes it seem like it's probably Amber is that the way she kills Sheriff Hicks, right? She does that thing where she uses the knife, uses the other hand to like push the knife down, right?
Right. Well,
then remember that she tries to do the same thing against Dewey and Dewey's death scene. So that's the same killer there. So
yeah, well, the thing is, fans state that Amber was there too. Both of them were in the vicinity. Amber was killing Deputy Hicks or Sheriff Hicks, while Richie was killing off West. Even though, then why did Richie, in my opinion, not attack West at the same time? why did the door have to be opened and closed? Because Wes was killed against the door. Whoever killed
Well,
Hicks
yeah,
had to walk in.
we heard Ghostface walk into the house.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would that even be necessary? Why wouldn't they, if they're both there? Like, I know that wouldn't they both just attack Richie at the same time? Like, it wouldn't make sense. I don't know.
So
And also, no, I'm sorry. Wouldn't they both attack West? But also, like, I don't think Richie's style is like the style where he would be like literally just like pushing a knife through someone's throat like that. Like,
mhm.
just from his personality at the end, he seemed more like not that kind of person. That's gonna sound weird to say that, but I know obviously he's a killer, but it seemed more like Amber's aggressive style. I don't know.
Now, but overall, let me go ahead and explain why I put Scream 5 as number 2. It's because I actually like this iteration of Ghostface almost as much as I like the one from my top one. This Ghostface is actually intimidating, in my opinion. Yeah, he still has those goofy little kicks where he's getting his ass beat, but then once he gets up, you know it's about to get serious.
Hmm.
Not only that, but this version of Ghostface, as we mentioned, kills Dewey. And even though you think it's ridiculous, I like the scene. And I also think it's pretty neat that they use two knives on Dewey because one
Look,
knife never does the
I,
same.
I don't think it's ridiculous. If that's Amber under the mask and we watch the scene, it is ridiculous. All right.
No,
There's
you think
no.
I'm telling you, it's not Amber, it's a hitman. Okay. Um,
Oh my. Well, that's even more ridiculous. All right. So.
but are you sure? Because apparently Richie's family has enough money to buy a whole damn theater
Oh
in
God.
New York City. So so they probably have the money to hire a hitman. Anyway, and also when the
Ridiculous.
even when the robe was cut open and you see the body armor, you don't see any chesticles. So it's definitely not a female body standing there.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But either
Anyway,
way, I like that. Only real, and I like some of the death scenes, especially the Hicks's death, both of them. The only downside I have with this movie is Melissa Barrera. I liked her in Scream 6, but she was pretty flat in this one.
yeah.
Oh, and Billy goes for some reason, even though it didn't feel that out of place in Scream 6, probably because he wasn't used a whole lot.
Yeah.
Felt really out of place in this one because he's used almost every scene.
Well, the Scream movies are like more grounded movies. They're not known for anything sort of like supernatural like that. And it wasn't supernatural. I know it's just a figment of our imagination, but it felt out of place a little bit to have like seeing a ghostly image. I mean, I guess maybe not because you do see Sydney's mom in part three, but it did feel like kind of different for the Scream series.
Yeah, but do we not also hype on or wreck the fact that we didn't like the ghost in part 3 either?
Yeah. And the thing with Billy Ghost is like the way they position him is like he's almost like a good guy. Like he's actually like helping our hero. And it's kind of like,
Even though
do we
he's
want
insane.
it's like, do we want to make any kind of version, even it's like her imagination of Bill or perspective of Billy? Do we want to make any version of Billy like be like on the good side? It's just kind of but fair point. Now, obviously, my number two, unless I want to do a shocker, which I don't. There's not gonna be a big shocker with this one. Scream 2 is my number two. And to echo what Nick was saying, for me, I'll give my only pet peeve about this movie is that Ghostface. A lot of coincidental stuff has to happen in this movie for Ghostface's plan to work. I mean, you think about that opening scene. How the hell did he know to be in that bathroom stall at that exact moment? How did he know exactly where to stab? How did he know that somebody else wasn't going to walk in the bathroom exactly as this was happening? There was so much risk and coincidence involved in these two theater deaths. Ridiculous. And then all throughout the movie, everything has to go right. Ghostface hiding in a van. What if like the cameraman comes back in the van? Like there's so much stuff here. At the end, Cindy making her way to the theater where Ghostface wants the ending to take place. Why would Cindy not just maybe go into town, get away, do something? Why does she go to the theater? Oh, it's all very coincidental. But the movie has fantastic characters. The movie has a great, maybe the best chase scene in the entire series, with that Gale Weathers chase scene at the campus towards the end. That's like one of the all-time best horror chase scenes. Honestly, feel like. So I think the movie it's again a fantastic follow up to part one, and probably the best Sydney performance outside of part one is in part two, also in my opinion. So, but I think that's probably a pretty standard popular opinion. That most people probably have part two ranked number two. I'd say.
Well, I guess we don't need to sugarcoat what both of our number ones are.
Yeah, we can go ahead and throw that up there. I mean, most horror series, the first one usually is the best, except for Friday 13th, which is not even
I,
in the top three, in my opinion. But
I
most horror
still prefer
series.
the first one over the third one. Top three. You don't put number one in your top three, you deserve hell, sir.
For
Freddy
Friday
is going to
13th,
take you to hell. Oh, Friday the 13th.
no, I'm talking about Friday 13th. Yeah.
Oh, why did I hear Nightmare on Elm Street?
I think you had too much Chinese food in the MSG. It's like it's clouding your thoughts.
I guess. I mean, that was some hard chicken. They overcooked that chicken, definitely.
No, I mean, with most probably 80, if you think about it, it's probably you'll probably agree, like 80% of horror series, the first one typically is the best usually.
Oh yeah, and this one has honestly the best villains that we've had the entire series, in my opinion. Even though you just said you prefer Jill.
Well, Jill would be number two to me behind Billy and Stu. Billy and Stu are just, first of all, Billy has the most honest personal motivation. Because he's basically mad at Sydney for her mom and stuff and all this. And Stu really doesn't have a great motivation. He's just kind of like they're along for the ride. But anytime you have Matthew Lillard being over the top with every line, you just gotta like love his performance. So many fun, memorable lines from Matthew Lillard.
Oh yeah.
You got Dewey, Randy, you got basically a great supporting cast of characters. The whole last half an hour of Scream, I think, is like from that party on, the last 30, 40 minutes is like top 10 last 40 minutes in horror movies of all horror movies, I feel like. So and then that opening scene with Drew Barrymore is one of the best horror openings of all time as well. So
that's because everyone's still expecting Drew Barrymore to survive.
Well, look, I mean, she should have known the killer in Friday the 13th, all right? I mean, it wasn't Jason, it was Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
Should have known that.
Yeah. Well, let's be fair. Let's put you in a situation where you just see your boyfriend get gutted in a very supernatural way, because how? And then let's see if you can answer that correctly.
Oh, yeah. Like a situation where like you just seen someone gutted. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably on the phone like with all my horror knowledge, probably like Friday 13th, leprechaun's a killer. I saw that 7 times. He's like, not only are you wrong, he's like, I'm gonna gut you extra hard for that stupid answer. So yeah, everybody, when you watch a horror movie, you always like, we do this too. Like, if that was me, I would do this. Like, yeah, maybe, but there's a lot more stress going on, and your brain's clouded with stress, and you might be like, killer clowns from outer space. I mean, maybe
it was a 3-finger. 3-finger isn't even born yet.
And Nick would have been like, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. Are you a hired assassin? Are you a hitman? Goes to the wife. You son of a bitch. How'd you know? How'd you know?
Like, I'll be like, because I saw your ad on Craigslist.
I'd be like, before you come to this house to kill me, just know this. Have you seen John Wick?
Because that's what you're about to be in.
You come in this house, some John Wick shit is going down.
Just warning you, I have the Master Sword from Hyrule. I know how to use it.